Hello and welcome to Take You to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. I'm your host at JP John Paz from the Two Man Power Trip. Of course, joining me, the star of the show, the former WWE World Tag Team Champion himself, the Doctor of Desire, Dr. Tom Prichard. How you doing today, sir?
I'm doing great, John. I hope you're doing great too.
Doing good. I can't complain. What's going on in the world of the JPWA?
Working hard, having a lot of good practices. Did great promo practice tonight, and everybody's working their ass off. This is week number 5.
Nice. How about NWA? I see that Natty Neidhart, Natalia, is coming to the NWA
Isn't
when they're
that
going to be
great?
in Philly. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. That basically WWE's work with everybody.
Yeah, I think it's great. It'll be
Will
good to
you
see
be?
Natty.
Will you be there? Will you be in Philly?
Yes, I will.
Nice, nice. I like that. Ibsen, hello, friends. Hello, Ibsen.
Isn't? How are you?
Brendan, what's going on, gentlemen? Hello, Brendan. Zippo, hey guys. Zippo.
I already told you about Zippo.
Yes, yes. Dr. Tom and John from Jason. Hello, hello.
Jason,
Ibsen says I got my front row tickets for the event. I think he means the NWA show. Wow, already front row tickets. I think it's in May, I want to say, at the 2300 Arena.
yeah, something like that.
It's good to see Tom in Philly for that event. I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
You don't know any of the backstage of how the heck that happened, did you? Like how they're bringing in
no,
NWA talent?
I have no idea.
May 17th. May 17th
May
in the
17th. Good.
2300 Arena in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Hello, the modern day cowboy, Mitch Miller.
Mitch,
Dwayne Anglo says hello again from the Philippines. Thoughts on John Cena's heel turn on Cody Rhodes? Imagine if it's in the NBA like Luka Doncic left Dallas. That was crazy, by the way. Worst trade
hmm.
ever. Now the Lakers are dominating. But what did you think about the? We're going to get right into it. The John Cena heel turn on Cody at the Elimination Chamber.
I thought it was great. I thought for a second that it could be Cena winning the event and do the heel turn, and I thought it was great. I really did. It it's different than the NWO and Hogan, but I think it's pretty significant, very significant.
That was pretty shocking to me, just because I didn't think that they would pull the trigger on that. I didn't see that coming, which is the best kind of way to watch. I wasn't really guessing that or predicting it or thinking that was going to happen. I think that was
Well,
the fun of it.
the only thing I was thinking is it's his farewell tour, and he's in the elimination chamber. So what do you do with Cena, and what do you do with Cody? Um, didn't know if it was going to be with The Rock, but at the same time, it worked out great. Because Cena's been a babyface for so long, and it's a fresh deal on his way out.
Feel like that was quite refreshing, like to have, because everybody was complaining, oh, it doesn't feel like WrestleMania, blah blah blah. It doesn't have that feel to it, and all of a sudden that turn happens. And now everybody's like, oh, everybody's into Mania again.
Yeah, and that's the way to do it. I thought it was great.
Brendan says, I know scene is the topic. I just want to say I love that I didn't see it coming. Well done by WWE. What are your takes on the Cena heel turn? So do you think that even though this is his last run, hasn't been a heel in 23 years or 22 years, whatever it's been, do you think that's the right timing for it?
Why not? It's the last chance you get. He's hanging it up. So get something out of it. I mean, I'm sure he thought about it. What do you do on your farewell tour? What do you do? What are you going to do that's going to be memorable or rememberable? That's a word too we can use. But
Sure.
what are you going to do to make it memorable? What are you going to do to make people say, "Oh my God, that was the greatest thing in the world"? I mean, short of what they did, I don't know. There's anything else they could have done. And it's great
To
that
me,
he's doing it with The Rock.
it was just, I don't know, the way it was done. The crowd was shocked. The Rock. the way Cody sold, the way he got his ass kicked, the bleeding, the watch. They used Dusty's Rolex watch.
Yeah.
Just Cena's facial expression was funny. Went from like happy-go-lucky, corny Cena to like dead serious, and then The Rock did the throat slash. I don't know. I didn't see it coming at all. I thought it was great. Very well done. Now makes that match even more intriguing because obviously you got The Rock in play. You got Cena as a heel. Is Cena as a heel going to lose? Cody's the big baby face. He's the Hogan, if you will. So I don't know. I like where they're headed now.
Well, yeah. I mean, Cena can even win and go on to the end of his farewell tour. Why not?
Mitch is saying kids crying, fathers cheering. Great time to be a wrestling fan.
Yeah, I think it is a great time to be a wrestling fan. There's a lot of good stuff going on.
Zippo says, in my opinion, the Ole Anderson Georgia heel turn is the standard to judge all others by.
You'll have to refresh my memory on that because I don't remember the old Anderson heel turn.
I think the best heel turn, though, and you kind of alluded to it, it's got to be Hogan, Bash of the Beach 1996, creating the NWO. This isn't quite up there, obviously, to that level. I know some people were kind of saying it is, which is fine if they think that, but Hogan literally changed the business with that heel turn, and then people don't realize it, but created the Attitude Era with that heel turn as well, the Monday Night Wars and everything else. So that was definitely way bigger and way better. But this is, I guess, the modern day equivalent since Cena hasn't been a heel in 20 something years.
Yeah, this is this generation's Hogan, I guess, if we can say that. I don't know if that's true or not, but he certainly was the guy that carried WWE on his back for what 10 years, or was it 20, or how long was Cena on top? 10.
Just about 10, yeah.
Yeah, it was all him. Well, not all him, but it was pretty much him.
He was the Super Cena, if you will,
Yes, he
as they called
was.
him. Ibsen said Bruce had said on his podcast years back that Cena wanted to be heel before he retired, but Vince said no because of the fans, and he brings a lot to the Make a Wish Foundation, obviously merchandise, etc. So maybe even Cena wanted to be heel, but Vince was the one that nixed it.
You know, I listened to a little bit of the post match scrum with Rock today. A little bit of it, just a little bit of it, and he went on to explain the angle, and how well they did it with each other, and went on to just pretty much explained everything. So I think Make a Wish will still be in the picture, and I think there'll still be people who want to see John Cena, and John will still do it unless he doesn't want to. But
Right.
I don't think it matters as much as the storytelling these days. So
It's so interesting though, like that people were like, "Oh, you can't do Make a Wish, can't they?" He still could. I mean, I don't think. I
yeah,
think that they're John Cena fans. I think they'll be okay with it. But it's just one of those things where I don't know. Maybe you get too trapped in the kayfabe stuff. I thought it was great though. That they said to The Rock in that press conference, they're like, "Hey, remember when all those people in like the dirt sheet people? Remember they were saying you came out to that pay per view and it made no sense. You did the throat slash. It made no sense." He laughed. He goes, "Oh yeah, now it makes sense, right, guys?" Like he's great on those. I think like he
right,
maybe gives up too much, but I think he's great on those.
right, right. And again, that's the situation you find yourself in. They're doing great business, so who's to argue? I think, yeah, I think he's great on those too.
Zippo says if he were retiring, he'd have or he'd wish Tammy serving her full sentence. Yes, me too. Vince said he brings us fans, and this man feeds us. That's why Vince was anti John Cena heel turn.
Hmm. Oh, could be. I mean, it just wasn't right.
Del Mountain, Dr. Tom, are you familiar with a move called the divorce court shoulder separator? If so, do you allow your students to perform this move?
Yes, that's a Midnight Express move, and we've gone over it before with other people at various times. Yes,
Zippo was saying when Ole Anderson turned on Dusty Rhodes, nearly caused a riot.
I can see that.
Brendan said Hogan is up there, the heel turn. Also, Stone Cold Steve Austin joining Vince McMahon was another one we did not see coming. WrestleMania 17, 2001.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
I just didn't like that one
Why didn't you like it?
because I felt like Austin was so over as a babyface. Nobody wanted him to be a heel. You know what I mean? Like he was still in his prime. He was still hot. Hogan had kind of cooled off, and you were kind of not as into Hulkamania at that point. Cena, obviously, this is 20 years into the babyface run. He's been in Hollywood, so like that's fine. Austin was like right in his prime, so over as a babyface. You almost didn't want to boo him at all. You didn't want to get into it at all. It was weird.
Yeah, well, he turned out okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
business went down after that.
yeah, it did.
Like the WrestleMania 17 is the high point, then it just goes way down after that.
Well, not everybody can win them all,
It was shocking,
or
but I don't know.
you can't win them all. How's that?
Yeah. Is Dr. Tom the third man with Rock and Cena? What do you think about that?
I don't know if that's a good idea or not. Maybe have him give me a call.
What about Travis Scott? Do you think he's okay as the third man?
He was. They kept saying, and they wanted everybody to know he's burning sage in the corner. So I guess he was trying to.
What was that all about? Obviously, he's
I I have
smoking
no
something
idea.
else.
That's what I'm saying. But they kept saying he's burning sage in the corner.
Yeah.
I thought, what the hell are you talking about? So well,
Do
maybe he's trying
you
to.
do you think though that he should be hitting Cena like that? I heard that he busted his eardrum. I mean,
Hit Cena.
Cody. Hitting Cody. I mean, Travis Scott. Did you see that?
Oh well,
He was just kept hitting him in the ear.
I did see it, but only Cody knows for sure if he hit him in the eardrum. Hope he didn't, but maybe he did.
I feel like if you're burning sage, if you will, and then throwing punches and not knowing where they're landing and you're hitting the guy in the eardrum might be a little bit risky, for your top star to be just laying there taking these
Well,
shots.
see, that's what the sage was for.
Yeah, I guess
That's what
get him
the
a
sage was
little
for.
yeah.
Get to ward away all the pain and agony and stuff. That's what it was for.
Kind of remind me of this weird angle WCW did when Tank Abbott brought out a knife and Tony Schiavone kept going, "Wow, he's got a pair of scissors. He must be wanting to cut the guy's hair and shave his beard." And the guy was bald with it was Al Green, he was bald with no facial hair. So he kept, oh, my, he's got scissors. Like, the announcers must be told, like, hey, make
Yeah,
sure you say it's something else. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I never saw it, but I heard about putting the knife up to his throat. What didn't you put
Yes.
the knife up? Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Crazy. So, such a weird angle. Dr. Tom, here's a little bit of a change up from Scorch. Did you ever see the match where Shane Douglas botched a DDT on Gary Pitbull Wolf and the crowd turned on Shane? Shane said he was afraid that the 1,100 people in the crowd would hurt him. Did you ever see that? ECW.
I never saw that. No, but I could understand where he'd be afraid.
Ibsen, for Dr. Tom, what was your favorite heel turn of all time?
Wow. Um, I don't know. I have to let me think about that, and I'll get back to you.
Yeah, let's keep that one there. Shawn Michaels super kick to Hulk Hogan surprised me when that happened. Yeah, 2005. That did shock me as well. I didn't see that coming. That was pretty good.
Yeah. Well, that's why. That's when you do it good.
Who do you think was a bigger star from Mason, Hulk Hogan or Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Wow. I don't know. I think didn't Steve draw more in his short time than Hogan did, or something like that?
Was breaking the records, yeah, but obviously a little bit of inflation involved there
Of
too. So
course.
it's a little Yeah, one of those things like nowadays they said Cody has drawn more money than Austin, but inflation is up, so it's almost like
Right.
hard to say. Yeah.
Well, they definitely were on the same. I don't know if they were on the same level, but they were certainly two of the biggest stars. Yeah, they were on the same level. I think yeah,
Uh,
at one time or another, everybody knew who Hogan was and knew who Steve Austin was. I mean, you were wearing his shirt or he'd been somewhere, but you were aware of the
yep.
name Stone Cold.
I'd give it to Hogan just for the more of the longevity. I feel like
Yeah,
all the older fans know him too, or the older people really mainstream knows him.
yeah, and it's a pretty easy name to remember, Hulk Hogan.
Yes,
So,
for sure. If Corny was booking this, what would be the next step if you were to guess?
man, I have no idea. I mean, once you got Cena there, maybe put Cena over at WrestleMania and work it all the way through his retirement tour.
You want Cena to go over? He's going to win number 17?
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
All right. Going to beat Flair's record.
That's what legends do.
Burning Sage, this is from Mitch. Burning Sage like some kind of Papa Shango curse, lol. Yeah, right?
Right, man. He's getting rid of the poisons in the air and the spirits.
Zippo says, remember WCW changing foreign object to international object. Didn't want to get
Yes.
in trouble for saying foreign object.
Yeah.
That's
A lot of
almost
things you couldn't get in trouble for.
it's almost like some of the stuff Vince. Remember, you couldn't say hospital; you had to say medical facility.
Yeah. Strap. Can't say strap. Got to say,
Yes,
yeah, title, championship.
yes, the championship and the championship opportunity because you're getting an opportunity at the championship.
Of course.
Frank Nordquist. I just watched an old promo where Pistol Pez Watley cut Jimmy Valiant's hair.
Yeah, Handsome had his hair cut a few times.
Did you ever notice that he really wasn't handsome? Does that ever cross your mind that that was kind of an odd nickname? Did that
No,
ever?
no, 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 you're wrong. Handsome Jimmy Valiant was very handsome. When he started out as young, they called him Prince Valiant.
Oh, with
That's the
the Valiant when the Valiant brothers were together. Yeah, man, I
No,
guess I
no,
don't
no.
know.
Well, no, even prior to that, when he was just a young guy, because he came to Texas before he went to New York. Because I've talked to him about it many times.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and he was a very handsome guy. He really was. He's just one of those guys that turned. I forget which one, but the War Raiders in WWE. One of them was Handsome Johnny from Chaotic Wrestling. Did you know Handsome Johnny?
Yeah, Todd Smith is his real name. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hanson,
Okay,
if you
which
will. Yeah. Warbeard
okay,
Hanson. Yep.
all right, yeah. I didn't even recognize him.
Yeah, he
So
looks
he,
completely different. Yes. Yes.
yes, yes. So it's kind of like Handsome when he started out, Handsome Jimmy Valiant. Yeah, he was handsome. Then he got freakier and freakier as it went
Yeah.
on down the line.
Then he became the Boogie Boogie Man. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The first heel turn that stuck with me, Andre the Giant turning out Hulk Hogan, 1987. That's the first one that sticks with him. That was a good one too, and that was so impactful because all you had to do was show up with Bobby the Brain Heenan, and you're like, okay, this guy just turned bad. What the hell is going on? Why the hell is he with Bobby the Brain Heenan, the most despicable man on the planet? That was great. That was so good.
Yeah, yeah. I would, yeah, it's hard to think with all the great heel changes over the years or heel turns over the years. I don't know.
Bob Backlund, JBB6782. Bob Backlund heel turn, epic.
I wasn't around for the Backlund heel turn.
Oh, you weren't. Oh, that was a good one. That was on Brett. He snapped. He lost his.
Or
He
was I?
lost. Oh yeah, I think you were there at that point.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
okay.
definitely were. Yeah, yep,
Oh, you're talking about yeah, 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 yeah. Okay, right when he came back and he won the title.
yep. And he snapped, and he just like completely lost his mind. Yep.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is funny because you wouldn't think it's like him, but he really isn't or was. He was crazy. He's very nutty.
Well, I think he was crazy like a fox too.
Hmm.
I think he knew where to be crazy and what not to be.
Yeah.
Had a little iron sheik in him.
Yes. Yes. Phil, hello. Happy Hump Day.
Hello, Phil.
What was the biggest heel turn in Smoky Mountain Wrestling?
Um, I don't know if we had a heel turn as much as it was a babyface turn. Buddy Landell.
It's a good one.
Uh,
You know who I was
Yeah.
just talking to yesterday? Guy
Who?
that you wrestled in one of his first matches in Smoky Mountain, Bobby Blaze.
Oh, no kidding.
He
What are
really
you doing
put you
talking about?
over.
Oh, he did, huh?
I
What?
just wanted to talk to him. I want to see what he was up to, where he's been, where he's been, kind of what is he doing? So I was just curious what's going on with Bobby Blaze. But it's funny he mentioned you and Cornette. He's like, he couldn't be better start there. Wrestled you early on, and he said Cornette was in the corner.
Wow. Well, how's he doing these days? What's he doing these days?
Doing very good. He's still training guys.
Well, good for him. It's in Kentucky, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Didn't realize Ashland, Kentucky, where he's from, also the birthplace of Charles Manson. Did not know that. Not 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 really, something to be proud of, but just interesting that was also the birthplace of Charles Manson.
You telling me Charles Manson was born in Kentucky?
That's according to Blaze. He could be working me on that one, but that's according to
Yeah.
Blaze.
Yeah.
I thought he was an LA guy, Manson.
That's what I thought too.
Handsome Johnny. Such a great talent. Nice name drop, Doc, from
Yeah. A lot of guys were chaotic.
good stuff. Yeah. Off topic, do you teach your students to hide foreign objects or do you not want them to have foreign objects?
Yeah, no, we don't teach the old foreign object, hide the foreign object trick on these. Yeah, we don't do that yet.
The old Jerry Lawler trick. Got the
Yeah.
foreign object. Dale says, what are your thoughts on the stoppage of the match between Cora Jade and Jordan Grace on NXT because Doctor determined that Cora had a legitimate injury?
Well, I didn't see that match. What happened?
It looked like she might have got a little bit like a whiplash effect, but then somebody was saying it could have been her knee as well. I don't know. It was weird. It just looked like an awkward kind of weird stoppage. I don't really know 100% why they ended up stopping the match. If it was they thought maybe a head injury or if it was something with her knee. It just looked so awkward as she like threw her in the corner. It almost looked like she had a little bit of whiplash. But then I was reading somebody was saying she had an issue with her knee and that the referee stopped the match. But it's hard to really see. It didn't really look like much, to be honest.
Well, I go back to saying nobody really knows except Cora if she had a
Yeah.
legitimate injury or not. So, but better to err on the side of safety.
Core Jade, definitely one of my favorites. There's no doubt about that. Love Core Jade. Zippo said the Valiants were great when I was a tiny lighter in the 1970s, early 1970s from Zippo when he was a tiny lighter.
I got it. Yeah, no, the Valiants were a great team.
Hey, Dr. Tom. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a great week. Sorry I'm late from Barbara.
Barbara.
Do you teach the rig boot when they say, you got the boot is loaded?
It's a loaded boot. Yeah, we talked about the loaded boot, but we don't teach it. We just tell you how to build up your heel there, or build up the sole of your boot. That's what it is.
Love that one. That's a good one. That's old school. I mean, that's really old school.
That's old,
Raven
old
used to do
school.
that too for a while.
Who?
Raven.
Oh, did he?
Yep.
Well,
Loaded the old boot up. Yeah.
you got to be careful not to walk around with the loaded boots; it might go off.
That's true. Jason said Freebirds turning on the Von Erichs pretty big too. What do you think about that?
That was pretty big. That was a pretty big deal. I think one of the things I've seen, I think probably the most shocked anybody was, and I just saw the last fall with a match. uh, was Bob Armstrong turning on Ron Fuller when he had Ric Flair pinned in Birmingham for the NWA title, and it's the third fall, and Ron has got him on the ropes, and finally gets him in that Fuller leg lock, and this is it because the fans have been conditioned once that leg lock goes on, they're going to tap. And the people came out of their seats as soon as Ron got that hold on. And Flair's selling like he's going to the electric chair, and Bob just drops an elbow on Ron and goes to town on him. And the people go ape shit crazy.
It's
Yeah, if you've never seen how over Bob Armstrong was in the South, it's amazing.
It's interesting too. Flair's in the middle of that, and Flair was kind of in the middle of the Freebirds Von Erich's turn too. Flair is kind
Yeah.
of the guy that stirs the pot, if you will.
Well, the world champion was the stern of the pot, so I think, yeah, him being who he was and coming in for the richest prize in the world. So yeah, it played into the storyline. It was great.
Brendan says, I always enjoyed when brothers turned on each other like Owen Hart, Matt Hardy, Scott Steiner, just for the shock value. It was great.
Yeah, those guys can work.
What are your thoughts on the Bret Hart heel turn on Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania 13?
Well, not that the work was great. I just don't know that. I don't know if Bret Hart was into being a heel or not. I really don't. But I think he was more of a proud Canadian and a heel on the American side for that. And I think it would have been one of those deals that you didn't need any help. You could just let the fans decide who they want to cheer for, which is what they did. But I thought it was effective either way.
Zippo said he's old school at 58 years young.
Right on.
Phil says, didn't Mr. Wrestling number 2 turn on Magnum TA?
Believe he did, but I didn't see that one either.
Yes, led to a bit of a feud there and kind of put Magnum on the map. Ended up really putting him on. They teamed together, then they feuded. Barber says the Iron Sheik would tap his boots and the fans went nuts. Yeah, he loaded that thing up.
He loaded that thing up. He sure did.
Flair turning on Dusty in the cage nearly started a riot. Actually, did start a riot. That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was great. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Paul Bearer turning on The Undertaker. That was a big shock at SummerSlam 96. That was pretty shocking, especially because he ended up teaming basically or managing Mankind instead.
Yeah. Did they ever tell the secret how they buried Paul Bearer in cement?
No, I don't think so.
It was a magic trick somehow, because obviously he didn't die. But I just wanted to ever came out and told the secret.
Do you know the secret?
I don't know the secret. I was wondering if you knew it.
No, I was guessing it's something to do with mirrors or something, like the way they did it. Did like a mirror reflect that that he was getting poured with cement, and then if you look behind, there really was no, you know what I mean? Like he was. I don't know how the hell they do it, but definitely trickery, if you will.
Trickery, yes, witchcraft and trickery. I think.
Barbara said Ricky Morton turned on Robert Gibson. I didn't particularly like that one that much. That was basically early 90s WCW when he was Richard Morton. He returned. That was weird too, because why would Ricky be a heel? You know, it's weird. Very weird.
Because he's sick of Robert. Always getting the hot tag.
That I believe. That I would believe.
There you go.
Magazine said, I think what's missing from pro wrestling today is cowbell on a rope, like that kind wheeled by Bunkhouse Buck. Pro wrestling needs more cowbell, quote unquote, which is a great quote. I think they even made a documentary called More Cowbell about SNL, about that skit.
Outstanding. Yeah, I think you're right. I think wrestling needs more cowbell.
You know, they said, that's Bruce Dickinson. They were saying that it's not actually Bruce Dickinson the singer. They're saying there was a random guy, Bruce Dickinson. I don't know if that's true. I gotta watch that documentary they did about that scene in SNL. That's pretty funny. But they're saying it's not really Bruce Dickinson. I thought it was supposed to be Bruce Dickinson, the singer. The legendary Bruce Dickinson.
Right? And they're saying it's not.
Apparently not, but I got to find out if that's a joke too. So I gotta delve into
Yeah,
that
you
a
got to
little
be
bit more.
careful. You got to be
Yeah.
careful there. You could be caught. Yeah.
Yes. Zabisco turning on Bruno Sammartino. Yes, another awesome heel turn.
Well, you're talking WWF.
Yeah, that's old school. Yeah, that's 1980 WWF there.
Yeah.
Possibly Robert stole one of Ricky's slew of wraths.
That's a
Possible.
possibility, certainly.
Changing gears here for a second. How was Kenzie Page as a student to teach?
She was awesome. She's very awesome. I think she's the
You su-
youngest NWA Women's Champion.
Are you surprised at how quick she took to wrestling?
No, she came from a wrestling family. Her dad was a promoter. Her sister wanted to wrestle. Her sister took the class after her. But no, she was a natural. She was learning fast already.
Barbara throws out there Zabisco also turned on Nick Bockwinkel. So you really can't trust Zabisco.
No, you can't.
From earlier, I didn't get to this one, but David Scott says, pause. Can you please help one of the vendors reach out to Sergeant Craig Pitbull Pittman? Would love to meet him at a convention. I actually, which is funny enough, I actually did recently because somebody asked me if they could have his contact info. They wanted to book him for a convention, and I gave him the contact info. So hopefully it happens, and hopefully Craig Pittman wants to do the signing. I know he doesn't do a lot of stuff, but he's a hell of a nice guy, and I used to love him in WCW. Good shoot. He was
But
a shooter too.
yeah, what's he doing now?
Not much. He's kind of relaxing. He's just kind of really just taking it easy. I think he's semi-retired now,
Hmm.
but he hasn't done anything wrestling related in years.
Wow.
And here's one from earlier as well from magazine said, "Good evening, gentlemen. Have you been following Lex Luger's physical therapy progress with DDP?"
I have not.
I have. I'm pretty impressed. He's been standing. He's on his own. He's been walking a little bit. DDP is quite a miracle man. He's been able to really help these guys like Jake and Scott Hall and even Scotty Riggs. I mean, he's been able to help a lot of these guys.
That's outstanding. And I think he's doing a great job. That's good for him and those guys.
Were you a fan of Lex Luger?
I didn't know Lex real well, but I got along with Lex when I had to.
They say, and he admitted it in '93 when they were doing the Lex Express and doing those tours, that he didn't particularly like the fans that much. And they're trying to portray him as the next Hogan, the next babyface, and he wasn't particularly fond of the audience.
Right. Well, I've seen those videos. Yeah, that wasn't going to work out.
Yeah, right. Man. But his look and everything, like him as like the top heel, he would
Yeah.
have been great instead of Yoko. I would have had rather have him, and then could go that way. Yoko's fine, but Luger was such a great heel.
Yeah, Luger was a good heel, but I think Yoko was
A
just meant for
monster.
this. Yeah, he was a monster. He was meant for this.
Scorchy. In one interview, Ricky Morton mentions being hit with a tar tool, quote unquote. He's actually talking about a tire tool,
Well,
aka i.e. tire iron.
so they said a Tor tool. Or Tor arm. That's what he said. You hit him with a Tor tool. I don't know why he
Is,
spelled it. I don't know why he spelled the name different. It don't sound no different.
is Ricky Morton the best babyface you've ever wrestled?
Definitely one of the best.
Let's hope Dr. Tom comes for 90s Con. What do you think about
Well,
that?
that'd
90s
be
Con.
great.
Didn't Johnny Powers turning heel help lead to the riot in Cleveland with Ox Baker and Ernie Ladd? Thank you.
I don't know. I don't know if Power. I don't think Powers turned heel during that match, did he?
Not as far as I know. I'm not sure on that one,
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one either.
but I know Ox Baker did basically incite a riot in Cleveland, Ohio. I know that.
Yeah, Ox did. Kept kept hitting him with the heart punch. Yeah,
Ox Baker, a little bit of a nut, or he was a bit of a
he was
nut.
great. Yeah, Ox was great. Yeah, he was a nut, but he was great.
From Jason, what was your favorite size ring to work in, and what did you prefer, real ropes or cables?
Yeah, I guess if it comes right down to it, an 18-foot ring was pretty good with cable ropes. I worked in the Olympic Auditorium, which is a 24-foot ring, and it was huge. Might even been,
Wow,
yeah,
24. Holy crap.
24-foot ring. It had the big aprons on the outside and the long poles, the long turnbuckles connected to the ring pads and everything. But yeah, 18 foot's just about fine.
Crazy. There was a controversy in AEW a couple weeks ago that when they were in Australia doing the Grand Slam show, that the ring was too small. That it was very noticeable that it was small. Did you see that? And Buddy
No,
Matthews complained that he got hurt from the ring, and they
how
didn't
big?
fly over a ring. They used whatever was over there, and they used a ring in Australia.
Well, do you know what size it was? Like a 16 or?
So the wrestler said it was an 18, but it looked like a 16 on TV, or unless it was the way they were shooting, but it definitely looked smaller than the normal ring that they use.
Yeah, probably 18 or 16, 16-foot ring.
There
So
was
if it's a
some
16
complaints
foot
about it.
ring, then inside it's going to be a 14-foot ring. So because 18, you're working with 16 feet inside the ring, inside the ropes. The extra 2 feet are on the apron.
Right. Just interesting that there was so much like people complaining about it for I guess because it looked different aesthetically on TV than their normal ring and their normal shows, but there was a lot of complaints.
Well, that's the difference between companies, I guess.
Modern day cowboy Mitch Miller, Sergeant Slaughter turning his back on America and being an Iraqi sympathizer. That was crazy. Crazy
Yeah,
heel.
that would have had to have been a hot thing.
That was huge. Yeah, that was nuts. And then obviously became world WWF World Heavyweight Champion at that point
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Slaughter knew how to get heat.
The Road Warriors turning on Sting and beating him up. Really kind of turning on Dusty and beating up. But the interesting part was the crowd, they even though they still love Sting, they kind of didn't really boo the Road Warriors.
Hmm.
And I
Well,
remember Dusty and Sting teamed up against the Road Warriors. They kind of only booed Dusty in that, which is odd because the Warriors were supposed to be heels, and him and Sting were supposed to be the baby faces, but they didn't really kind of work out that way. Road Warriors too over at that point.
yeah, it
In
was hard to
AEW.
get over on the Road Warriors, the heel or baby faces. They just were badass.
Yeah, I don't know if 88, it's like Austin turning at 01. It's like I don't know if the fans were quite ready for the turn when it happened.
Yeah.
Off topic. I used to do a radio show circa 2000, 2001 here in New York City, where we did a lot of wrestling chat and interviews. Ivan Koloff, Tommy Young, etc. So Zippo got experience in the old wrestling interview game, the radio game, if you
Oh, that's awesome.
will. Love that.
Yeah.
What gimmick matches do you want to see for WrestleMania? Any, if any?
I don't know. Honest to goodness, I mean, are you going to have a stipulation for Cena and Cody? I mean, I don't know. What do you do with those guys? Is there a steel cage where nobody can get in, nobody can get out? Or is it a strap match because he got whooped? I mean, I don't know. There's a lot to consider there. You're right. It's now everybody wants to. The complexion has changed. The attitude's changed. So everybody's interested in what's going to happen. But I don't know. I'd like to see. I don't know about a strap match, but some kind of match, some kind of gimmick match. I don't know what that is.
I think it's going to be no DQ. Anything goes.
That could be it.
What do you or who do you want to see turn heel in the business that hasn't turned heel yet?
Ooh, don't know. Most people have seen that. That's something to think about. I really don't know, Ibsen. I don't know. Don't get to watch it enough every week to see who the baby faces and heels are.
Frank says, I enjoyed watching Larry Zbyszko host WCW programs in the mid 1990s. Love me some Zbyszko on commentary and even hosting. He was great.
Well, I heard Tony Schiavone last year talk about Larry Zbyszko in a speech about how he wore the crazy shirts and would do crazy things and say crazy things. So I could understand how Larry'd be very entertaining.
Love Larry. Anytime that I get a phone call from Zbyszko, and we had a few back and forth, I interviewed him before, but we were talking about other stuff, and he was calling me, and we were kind of going back and forth. I purposely sent it to voicemail. You know why?
Mm,
Because
wow.
every time I sent a voicemail, I'd get a story. So it'd be like 60 seconds or so. And you get, for whatever reason, he'd be like, hey, I'm golfing. I'm on the 18 right now. I'm about to sink this. But like, it would be a whole story. And it just reminded me how great he was on commentary. So I would always just send it to voicemail because lo and behold, boop, wait, you get a, and I would save him. And I would have his awesome, just random 1 minute or so story. That's how much I love Zbyszko's like commentary and his voice, especially when it's directing it towards me. Like, hey, John, I'm golfing right now. Or, hey, I'm going to the pharmacy right now. And then he would have a story, like an anecdote. It was great.
His life must have been pretty sad back then.
Yeah. Yeah. Like waiting for,
You know what I mean? Yeah, waiting to call
yeah.
somebody to tell him
Yeah.
about what he's doing. And yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Tabasco
exactly.
was the man, though. Ox turned on Bobo Brazil and told him he was going to beat the hell out of him.
Wow. It sounds pretty tame today.
Zippo said Cleveland NWF.
Think so.
Favorite all-time heel turn? Have you decided?
Yeah, I think, like I said, I remember seeing the clip from Bob Armstrong turning heel on Ron Fuller.
Nice. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, in Birmingham, Alabama. Sure did.
The Mega Powers. That's right. Macho Man. Saturday night's main event turning on the Hulkster eventually leading to the match in Atlantic City. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Manny Motati. What was your thoughts on the curtain call incident? I had the rare opportunity to film that and was the only footage. May 19th, 1996, the curtain call. I got to have Manny on the show, on my show. I want to interview him, talk to him when it comes up. I got to talk to him about the curtain call. But what do you think about the curtain call?
At the time, I didn't really care for it. Later on, I understand their thoughts on it, and I understand why they did it because everybody was leaving. And at the end of the day, it wasn't that big of a deal. Look what's happened since then. Nothing's really never. It didn't kill the business, uh, anything like that. It just at the time I didn't think much about it. Didn't think much of it. But in the end, at the end of the day, wrestling had been changed. Wrestling has changed forever, so wasn't that big a deal.
The crazy thing about the curtain call to me, and I'd love to get to Manny's take on this as well, is that it became so much bigger after the fact. And like I know he's filming it literally, and this is WWE has his footage, and it's literally his footage. I mean, that's where you see all around of the curtain call. But going into it, nobody even cared about Shawn Michaels or Diesel having that match. That was the return of Ultimate Warrior to Madison Square Garden after 4 years. I remember that was the big push because I'm from Jersey and I was thinking about maybe possibly going to that show. We ended up not going, but like the only interest we had wasn't because of the title match or anything like that. Like Bret Hart was gone at this point, so it's like, you know what I mean? They were floundering a bit. There was real no interest to me in WWF, to be honest, at that point. as much as WCW, because WCW was kind of on the track of starting to kick ass and take names eventually, especially with the NWO. But at this point, I think Warrior was the big draw for that show. So I feel like it got way bigger after the fact than during the fact.
Yeah, that too, because of the internet, because of people who just were smart, and it was a growing group of people who knew, and there's always been that group of fans who knew the insides and the backward, and always had the gossips in the papers and things like that. But um, I don't, there was that kind of buzz, and when it happened, everybody was on their feet and they knew. Uh, everybody in the garden knew that night, I guess, what was going on. Even if they didn't, they had an idea. They broke kayfabe.
Yeah,
Great.
it was weird, very weird that they. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like what the hell's going on? Why is the heels and the baby faces? Yeah, hugging. Strange.
Yeah, but by that time, it was pretty much done.
Yep. Lex Luger said the fallout for the death of Miss Elizabeth led to him becoming estranged from his children. Evidently, the media harassed his kids to the point where they stopped talking to him. Yeah, very sad. I saw that in an interview with Lex. Very sad. His kids don't talk to him.
Yeah,
Terrible.
it's terrible.
Zippo also did a wrestling telephone hotline where he was the only heel giving away news and superlative views.
Well, that'll do it.
Phil says Larry Land, love it. Yes. The NWO, New World Order. Larry Land, he was the best.
Very nice.
Um, this is interesting. Since the world is moving away from fossil fuels, will solar panel match take the place of the coal miner's glove match?
That's a great question, Barbara. Let me see if I can get an answer on that by next week.
All right. Remember that, Barbara. Art
Yeah.
Anderson said Larry would stand on the outside of the ring too long while the crowd was yelling, Larry sucks.
Well, Arn would know.
That's why Arn called him the cigar store Indian. He said, are you just going to stand there like a cigar store Indian, not do anything the whole match? You're just going to stand there and you're going to yell at you the whole time, or are you going to wrestle? So I love the Enforcers, that team, but it's funny to think that Arn is literally yelling at him to start wrestling. He even said,
Yeah.
you're wasting too much time.
Yeah.
Of course, let's not forget Hogan, heel, NWO. Yes. Can't forget that. Can't forget the NWO. Oh, has anybody turned on Dr. Tom?
I have to plead the fifth on that. I don't recall, actually.
Not sure what James is referring to here. He said, you mean like Meltzer? Not sure what he was referring to right there. Let's get some clarification from James right there. Maybe he's talking about the curtain call and people covering it. Maybe I'm not sure, but follow up on the curtain call. Imagine Triple H did not get punished. Can he be more popular than Steve Austin and The Rock? What do you think about that?
I don't know. I really don't know, because I think things happen the way they were supposed to be and supposed to happen. Um, would he have been more popular than Austin Rock? I don't know. I mean, he was in line to be, but sure would have changed things. That's for sure. Or maybe
I don't,
not.
I don't see him as that type of top guy though. Like Cornetto is
Yeah.
just he's the guy who works with the guy. He's good. And he's a top star, but he's not the guy. Like the guy is Austin, the guy is The Rock, the guy is Hogan. He's not the guy, but he could be the guy that works with the guy.
Yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
Uh-oh. Here's trouble. ATF scientists now say an avalanche caused the deaths of those Russian hikers at the Dyatlov Pass. Can we confirm it or maybe deny, say that it was a punch from the hands of Stone Ronnie Garvin?
I have it on good authority that Ronnie was not in his house when that avalanche took place, and they're launching an investigation now.
Interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
I'd love to kind of get more on that. We'll
Yeah.
have to get more on that next week, and then Barbara's got to get more on her fossil fuels.
Sure.
Uh, um, but also, Barbara said Dr. Tom has too much integrity to turn on any of his partners. Wow, is that true?
That's true. I haven't turned on any of my partners
Not
ever.
even not even Jimmy Del Rey behind the scenes. You didn't even turn on
Never,
him.
ever, never.
Wow. Look at this. A Dateloff pass mention. Cool. Ha. Zippo is loving that.
Very nice.
He gets the inside dope. Look at that. Nikita Koloff. What about when Nikita Koloff turned babyface? Nobody believed him. They're so used to him being a heel.
Hmm.
That was pretty
Yeah.
emotional, though.
Yeah,
Nikita
I
and
guess.
Dusty because of Magnum. That was pretty
Yeah.
emotional.
Yeah.
But Dr. Tom, let's wrap this bad boy up. We're talking about all these great heel turns, but let's wrap this up. Hit the plugs. You follow me on Twitter and Instagram at 2Man Power Trip. Follow Dr. Tom at Dr. Tom Prichard. What else you got going on in this crazy world we live in?
Oh man, if you want to train with us, you can go to jpwrestlingacademy.com. Check out our website. You can also get my book if you go to the training tab at the top of the page and click on that. It'll bring the book up. If you need an autographed copy, you can go to jpwrestlingacademy@gmail.com and tell me what you want an autograph to, and we'll get it out.
Barbara's always on top of her game. She always says, hey, what about the autographed copy?
Yeah, she's good.
Gotta love that. Thank you, Barbara. Thank you, Phil. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Mitch. Dr. Tom for the Hall of Fame. Yeah, that would be nice this year, Dr. Tom.
That'd be great.
You, Cornette, maybe Sweet Stan.
Yeah, I'm going to hold my breath.
Look at this. Scorch says, I'm not a fan of cancer culture, but Dave Meltzer got canceled from pro wrestling. If he did, he'd be fine with that. Wow. Look at Scorch closing it out. Kind of a hot take to end it there. Wow. But thank you, everybody out there, for listening. See you right back here next week for a little Take It to School with Dr. Tom Prichard. We'll see you next week, folks.